We all love it or hate it, but Pokemon shiny hunting has been a culture around Pokemon as a whole. Being able to collect your favorite colored Pokemon with a different spin all over is something truly special. But over the last couple of years, I've realized or thought to myself, is it becoming too easy and it doesn't seem like it captures the magic of Pokemon anymore? Because if you don't remember, Pokemon shiny hunts used to take either hours, maybe sometimes days, or if you're very unlucky, years. But that wasn't usually for the base Pokemon. Now, of course, Pokemon Sword and Shield brought Pokemon Legendary shiny hunting to a new halt. But can we say that it's not as easy as just clicking one button and restarting? You had to do the entire thing for 15 minutes. But yes, the odds were much better at 1 in 100 instead of the base odds of 1 in 4096. Now we can even go farther back to about Pokemon Generation 4. We had base odds which were 1 in 8192, which is a crazy odd to look at. But throughout these years, has it just become the easiest thing? You can finally get your favorite colored Pokemon with fairly good ease or fairly good odds. And sometimes you don't even have to be at the controller to get your favorite Pokemon by all of the either technology that we have or doing some certain glitches or some certain things, mechanics that are in the game. Like for example, Pokemon Legends ZA. Now of course, this game has a lot of different shiny hunting methods, but one of the main ones that you don't even have to be there for is the door method. Now the door method, we can say that it's either a very good method to getting yourself a shiny Pokemon or a very cheap way to get yourself a shiny Pokemon. But luckily, you can only get a certain few amount of Pokemon there. So I guess it's just for the more faint at heart that wanted to go and get themselves a quick and easy shiny Pokemon. But what about for the rest of us? What if you wanted to get a shiny Froakie or one of your favorite Kalos starters or just starters as a whole? Well, there's other shiny hunting methods that just allow you to click one button and just keep teleporting there. It's kind of like the reset hunts that we used to do back on the 3DS. Or can we still say that the 3DS also had shiny hunting methods which were also very simple? Like catch combos. Now, catching multiple Pokemon while fishing was definitely a valid point to getting yourself a shiny Pokemon. But there was one big drawback to catching your Pokemon that way. Now that, of course, was that you can only catch water-type Pokemon. Water-type Pokemon are great, but what if I wanted to get my grass starter? Well, then I can't shiny hunt that way. But of course, Pokemon Sun and Moon gave you an alternate method that was the wormholes, and the wormholes was about a 1 in 64 chance of getting yourself a shiny Pokemon with, of course, the shiny charm. But it still was a pretty high chance to get yourself a shiny Pokemon. Is the shiny charm even worth it nowadays? Because you can get yourself shiny Pokemons very, very easily without the shiny charm. Because back then it was like, alright, so I have to go 100% the Pokedex and then I get myself my shiny charm. Then I can go off to start hunting Pokemon because then it make the odds so much greater. Instead of 1 in 4096, it would be 1 in 1300, which honestly is great odds reduced. But most legendary Pokemon were something like that, and still to this day, legendary Pokemons are very hard to get. Actually, we haven't really seen a good shiny hunt for legendary Pokemon since, I would say, if you like better the reset hunt by clicking one button and resetting, well then since the 3DS. Or do you like the Sword and Shield method, which you had to go through an entire Dynamax Adventures to get your one shiny Pokemon? Which overall, that wasn't the hardest thing to do, but it also wasn't the easiest thing to do, because if you were playing online, it was probably a little bit easier. If you were playing with CPU, sometimes you can get blacked out or knocked out, and other times you can just, either way, whatever you choose could get knocked out. So it wasn't overall the easiest thing to do, and maybe shiny Pokemon for legendary, in fact, might be a little bit harder now. But that still doesn't excuse how the just base Pokemon are pretty relatively easy. Now over Pokemon as a whole, one great way to get yourself a shiny Pokemon was egg hunts. Now egg hunts in Sword and Shield could be completely automated because by just going around in a circle and using a turbo controller or macros on a controller, you can just go around in a circle, click one button, which you would go back to the nurse, get your other egg, the other egg would hatch, and then you can just keep going around and around and around in circles until you got that shiny Pokemon. But hey, maybe that's just the way that you like to play the game. Because if you were just a base player without a macro controller or anything, I would say that getting shiny Pokemon was a little bit harder. So I guess maybe to the conclusion, it's just shiny Pokemon are easy depending on which way are you doing it. Do you consider macros and using turbo controllers as cheating? Because personally, I feel like it might be a little bit cheating. It might just be because you're not necessarily there and you're doing something that the game didn't really intend you to do, like doing it without, but maybe it's not cheating in that way because you also are using your own Pokemon, you're using pretty much everything that the game intended to do, but you're just not there. It's like someone's controlling the controller for you, so you can just get up and maybe do a couple bench press or something like that. Overall, shiny Pokemon are still a very, very fun time, but I don't know if the excitement is fully there anymore because maybe, like I said, they're too easy. Shiny Pokemon are losing their magic, and one thing that can bring shiny Pokemon completely back once again, not like they were ever gone, but completely back, would be to give the shiny Pokemon some certain stats. So imagine catching yourself a shiny Pokemon. Maybe this Pokemon will have increased attack or increased defense or something special with that shiny Pokemon, because then the shiny Pokemon would be a very great advantage to your team. And it would be like, I did this, I got myself the shiny Pokemon. But of course, it would cause some problems, like if you're using turbo controllers and macros to get yourself a shiny Pokemon, then you have a higher chance of that Pokemon to have higher stats, which is just like, what are we doing here? Why are we doing this? Oh man, someone already got a full team of shiny Pokemon. They probably got a controller that you can just like click one button and it just keeps clicking and clicking and clicking. There's nothing wrong with using a shiny Pokemon or shiny hunting method like that. Whatever way you want to play, that's completely up to you. If you want to use a macro controller to get yourself a shiny Pokemon, hey, that's perfectly okay. You can get yourself a shiny Pokemon whatever way you want. If you want to go out and just soft reset the game 100 times, or probably even more, well then that's another valuable shiny hunting method. Completely every single way that you shiny hunt is okay. So with that out of the way, all of these shiny hunting methods is very, very interesting. And now if I were to give you my favorite shiny hunting method, for me, legendaries, I think it would be Sword and Shield. I just think that that is very fun because it gives you that excitement to know, okay, what kind of shiny Pokemon am I going to be getting? Especially if you're doing a shiny Pokemon just random. If you're going through a random Dynamax adventure every single time, you don't really know what that shiny Pokemon or what that Pokemon legendary Pokemon at the end is going to be. So it kind of gives you that mystery balance. And then when you finally catch it, you're like, oh my goodness, is this going to be a shiny or is this not going to be a shiny? And even shiny Pokemon in there is also pretty great because there's about 3 Pokemon that can be shiny throughout your adventure. So overall, that is probably my favorite way to do it, but in terms of the best way to do it, is honestly probably going to be the AFK methods, because then you don't really have to waste your time clicking one button, or you don't have to waste your time doing something. But unless you like doing that, hey, that's completely awesome. That's completely okay to be doing something like that. But overall, Pokemon is a culture, a game that has many different ways to play. Like, if you wanted to play the entire game with only grass starters or grass Pokemon or something, well then there you go. Pokemon has so many different ways to play, and that is also so many different ways to shiny hunt Pokemon. So no matter which way you pick, you're great. You're gonna catch yourself a shiny Pokemon. Even if you got yourself the entire 1,000 Pokemon that are all shiny. That is honestly very, very cool, and that is super awesome. Now, there's one shiny hunting method that I actually did, or maybe it's not even a method at this point. One shiny hunt, sorta, that I did to get myself one of my favorite Pokemon shiny. It was the AF glitch in Pokemon Red and Blue, which you had to go and do a whole bunch of glitches and then do the missing no glitch until you can get yourself a Mew, which was honestly awesome. It was really cool, and then it turned into a shiny Mew. Maybe you can consider that cheating. Well then, whoops, I cheated the game. I'm a bad person. It's like I went into some sort of place that you completely generate your own Pokemon by cheating, adding whatever stats you want, levels, balls, and whatever it is. But hey, I'm so sorry. But overall, shiny hunting as a whole is really fun still, and maybe it did lose a little bit of the magic that it once had, but I still think that it truly is a specialty, a novelty when it comes to Pokemon as a whole, because one of the favorite things that I like to do is complete the game and then go shiny hunting, because that gives you something to do. Until you completed the entire National Dex, the entire Pokedex with all shiny Pokemon, well then, boom, there you go. Shinies are perfect for you. Anyways, what do you think about this? Are you having a fun time playing Pokemon Legends ZA, or did you move back to a different game so you can do the exact thing of shiny hunting Pokemon? Whatever the case may be, let me know in the comment section down below, and thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it, and hey, we're almost at 2,000 subscribers. If you're not subscribed, consider to hit the subscribe button. I really, really appreciate it, and thank you so much. Also, you're going to get yourself a shiny Pokemon, and happy Halloween. Have a fantastic time. Get yourself a shiny Gengar, and with that being said, consider to hit the subscribe button, and see you in the next one.